Mets baseball is being brought to you today by the new Chevrolets. Visit ChevyOffers.com, the newest way to buy a Chevy. By Dunkin' Donuts, the official coffee of the New York Mets. By your Tri-State Quality Ford store with the best-selling vehicles on the planet. By Verizon Business DSL, the best value in broadband that keeps getting better. By Hyundai, with quality that lets them offer America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. By McDonald's, now open by 6 a.m. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by your New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Lexus dealers who invite you to test drive a Lexus today. Beautiful day here at Shea Stadium. The SAP portion of this afternoon's broadcast made possible by OI, the best place for sports in Spanish. Mets against the Dodgers here, and Mets fans, you can catch all the action at Shea in crystal clear high definition on Cablevision's IO Digital Channel 711. Tom Seaver, Dave O'Brien with you as Kris Benson is on the hill today, the right-hander with a .262 earned run average when he pitches at Shea Stadium. That's among the 10 best in the National League at home. The starting lineup brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Ford store. And Benson to test this lineup. Oscar Robles at third base. Cesar Turris at short. Milton Bradley back in there as of yesterday off the DL. There's Jeff Kent hitting cleanup. Worth, Hee-Seop Choi, Mike Edwards, a rookie left fielder, followed by a rookie catcher in Mike Rose, and Brad Penny, the hard-throwing right-hander, hitting ninth against Kris Benson.
And 30-year-old Kris Benson on the mound. You see his numbers, and Dave was talking about his home ERA. Overall, 3.4. Just 86 hits in 95 innings. Only 24 walks. He has been a nice surprise, pitching right where a lot of people in baseball thought he should be pitching at that level, and he's done it consistently, and he's almost a guarantee to give you 6, if not 7 innings of work every time that he goes out there. He has done that since practically opening day.
Oscar Robles gets in, and the first pitch to him is across for a strike. We are underway on a sunlit afternoon. Absolutely a sensational day. Good crowd expected. We've had 2 very big crowds on Friday and Saturday night. Saturday afternoon, ground ball to the middle and to his right. Cairo up with it and throws on to get Robles. And a quick out, one away here in the first.
Cairo in the first out. Let's take a look at the defense, brought to you by Bank of America. For the Mets in the outfield, Cliff Floyd, Beltran and Cameron, and left fielder right at third base. Reyes at short. Cairo and Minkevich on the right side. Mike Piazza back behind home plate on this spectacular day at Shea Stadium. Boy, the weather just as perfect as it could be.
And still pouring in. 43,700 yesterday, over 50,000 on Friday night for Merengue night. Here's his Turris. He takes a strike. Jim Reynolds, the home plate umpire, with Chad Fairchild at first, John Hirschbeck at second, Wally Bell at third. Jim Reynolds, the guy who made that call at first base yesterday. And on the replays, if you were watching the game, it appeared as if Minkevich may have made a phantom tag as Reyes charges. Guns on the move and gets him. Is Turris, the reigning Gold Glover at short in the National League, is cut down. And there are 2 down. We talked to Doug Minkevich before the game, and here's a look at the play. Is right charged, fired, a little bit off the mark. Minkevich leaving the bag. You see that sweep tag? He did get him on the hand. He got Holton, the pitcher, on the hand. And Doug went to the umpire, Jim Reynolds, at first base, and thanked him after that play. He said, I was going to have to argue because I know I got him on the hand. The replays were inconclusive. I'm pretty sure Reynolds went with sound on that, made the right call.
We were talking about that before the game, David, and your point well taken about sometimes the umpire on sound will make a call. And certainly by the replay, even the replay there, if you're not looking for it, you don't see that glove hit the hand. And it looked like it really did.
A terrific play by Minkevich to pick up the out there. I thought initially maybe Doug got one on reputation.
Yeah.
But he's a very honest sort of guy. He would have told us if he missed it.
Reputation and salesmanship.
Yes.
I mean, he knows how to sell the moves down there. When he makes the move, even if he doesn't take it, he'll try to sell the first base umpire.
But he did tag him. Swing and a miss by Milton Bradley, hitting .304 with 10 homers.
That doesn't take it away from his salesmanship.
No.
Take a look at this pitch, and you'll see the pitches from Benson as we go through the course of this game. Ball going down at the hitting zone. We've already seen 2 ground ball outs in the infield. And that last pitch, changeup, a lot of downward action at it at the hitting zone.
Another one there, check swing, and he went, according to Wally Bell. That's strike 3. Milton Bradley with a lengthy stare at an umpire. Boy, they've seen that before, but just 8 pitches in the inning as Benson cruises in the first. Benson gets the Dodgers 1-2-3. Now the starting lineup of the Mets, brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Force Store. Jose Reyes, followed by Cameron and Beltran, Floyd, Wright, and Piazza, with Doug Minkiewicz, the number 7 man, Cairo at second, and Benson hitting ninth. They will battle against the right-hander Brad Penny, 5-5 coming into today.
And a big battle it would be. Brad Penny, 6'4", 250, 5'5", as David said, and a 3.4 earned run average, making his 18th start for the Dodgers this year.
He's always had kind of a mental block going back to his days with the Florida Marlins. When pitching against the Mets, he is 2-8 lifetime against the Mets with an ERA of 6.43. Jose Reyes now. Yesterday's sun-drenched 6-5 win certainly belonged to Reyes. He had a brilliant day. 4 out of 5, including 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. Hits that one to the right side. He pulled it to Kent. Over to Hee-Seop Choi for the out. 1 man away.
Let's take a look at the defense here at Shea Stadium, brought to you by Bank of America. For the Dodgers in the outfield, Mike Edwards, Milton Bradley, Jason Worth left to right, Oscar Robles at third, Cesar Esteuras as a shortstop, Jeff Kent, the veteran, at second, Hee-Seop Choi, the first baseman. Mike Rose does the catching for Brad Penny.
And here's Mike Cameron checking in at 270. He's hit 10 homers, 31 RBIs for Mike, 2 out of 5 yesterday in the victory. And Carlos Beltran on deck. They are underway in Washington. Houston and the Nationals, they're 0-0 in the first inning. Everybody in the National League East won yesterday. The Braves and Nationals are still tied for first. The Phillies are 4 games back. Then the Mets at 4.5 out. Then the Marlins at 5.5 back. Outside for ball. 1-1 on Cameron. Mike with 3 hits and 9 at bats in the series. Over the last 6 games, he's come out of that slump and making regular contact. Good breaking ball and a swing and a miss to make it 1-2.
Cameron got a hanging slider on the outside part of the plate and got out in front of it and pulled off of it. That's the mistake. That's the one that Mike Cameron's got to hit right there. That's not a pitcher's pitch. That's a hitter's pitch.
Penny looking for his first strikeout of the day. Jammed him. That one ran in on the thumbs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Over in the American League East, the Red Sox now have a 2.5 game lead on the Yankees. Boston beat the White Sox yesterday, while the Yankees lost their 3rd straight. Yankees playing the Angels a little bit later on. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Fouled off again. The San Diego Padres dropped their 6th in a row, all on their current East Coast swing. Of course, that started when the Mets swept them here at Shea, but every team in the National League West lost on Saturday. So the Padres still have a 3.5 game lead over Arizona in a very weak division. Up high for a ball. And nothing points that out, Tom, more readily than the fact that these Dodgers are very much in the race, only 5.5 out, and yet their record is 44-53.
Well, there's only one team in the West that's above 500. We talked about that on Friday night. The Padres now are only 2 games over 500, and they're in first place.
Ball 3, full count on Cameron.
Everybody else is under 500. I mean, when you throw in Colorado, it's a crime what it does. In a sense, when you look at the won-loss percentage of the division, the Rockies are only 34-62.
And 24 of those wins at home at Coors Field. That is where the Mets go next for a game tomorrow night against the Rockies. Here's the payoff pitch from Penny. Spoiled again by Cameron. So Mike with a pretty good fight here against Brad Penny. As Beltran waits patiently on deck, bases empty, 1 out, just started here in the first inning. As the Mets look to go 7-3 on this homestand. It has been a fine homestand. A 3-2 up and in for ball 4. He walked it. Penny's control has been excellent. In fact, he's 4th in the National League in fewest walks allowed per 9 innings.
Yeah, 106 innings pitched for him coming into the day. Only 18 walks. You look where you have twice as many strikeouts as you have walks, and you consider yourself you've done a decent job in the big leagues. 18 walks, and Penny has 65 strikeouts. 18 walks, and 106 innings pitched.
It was a 9-pitch at bat for Cameron. He's on good speed, obviously, with Beltran up. And we'll see if the Mets run as frequently today with the rookie catcher behind the plate in Rose.
The other part of that, too, when you get a guy on the mound 6'4", 250 pounds, his delivery to home plate is not going to be that quick. So you should have plenty of time, and Cameron's got to go sooner or later. You may wait and get Beltran, if he gets a strike on him, to keep that hole on the right side between first and second before you let Cameron go. Certainly, if you ever get to 2 strikes, he's going to go, and I would think after 1.
Carlos blinded by the sun in the first inning on a ball that fell in yesterday, leading to a 3-0 Dodger lead. So the Mets had to dig out of that hole right away, which they would do to go on and win the game. And Beltran at the plate was 2 out of 3 with an RBI single. So he redeemed himself. Also had a 3-run homer on Friday. And back in is Cameron. The other thing the Mets did very well yesterday, aside from fighting from behind, they ran wild on the bases. They stole 5 bases. Beltran had 1. The Mets 5 as a team. Jose Reyes with 2 of those. Now the National League stolen base leader. Close play and a tag not in time to get Cameron. Nothing in 1 to count on Beltran. Just 8 so far, but caught just the 1 time by Cameron. He's holding, and the pitch is strike. 0-2 now.
Well, not only do the Mets run, I mean, they have a great ratio. They lead the National League in stolen bases with 80. And they've only been thrown out 22 times. That's a terrific ratio. Of course, Jose Reyes has 34 of those 80.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Beltran looking back into the mid of Rose. Fastball at 90 pumped by him. Yeah. He strikes out, 2 gone.
That's big league fastball. That's got to have some movement on it right at the hitting zone. Yeah, it did too. High fastball. And you could hear the pop of the glove of the catcher, Mike Rose. That's the best fastball that Brad Penny has thrown all day.
Oh, here comes an old teammate of Brad Penny's, Cliff Floyd. They were together with the Florida Marlins for a spell. So Cliff has only seen him 13 times as a hitter, and he has 3 hits. Clifford is trying to get going on this homestand. He asked for time as the toss went over to first base, and it was granted by Jim Reynolds. But Cliff is hitless in the series. He is 0 for 7, just 1 out of 11 over his last 3 games. So the Mets have kind of played so well without Cliff Floyd on his homestand for the most part as he takes outside.
Yeah, on the homestand he's just hitting over 200. So he has been in a mini slump here.
Overall hitting .279 with 23 home runs. So you could say Cliff Floyd is due.
If you play at that clip, I mean, if David Wright's hitting 400 on the homestand. I mean, if you play at that clip, you win the Triple Crown. It just doesn't work that way. You got highs and lows in any season. And the nice thing about it, Cliff Floyd is in kind of a funk right now, but a couple other guys in that ball club are having a good home series. You don't even notice it.
Yeah, you're right. A bunch of guys
slides right through. You got Wright and Reyes, and
Beltran has hit the ball very well. Minkiewicz, obviously. Miguel Cairo has quietly had a very nice homestand. So really up and down the lineup.
And that'll take the focus off of your left fielder, off your number 4 hitter in the lineup. Because you're getting support and production out of other spots in the lineup.
Cameron's come to life after a slump.
See, when everybody goes in the slump at the same time, they blame the 3 and 4 hitters if they don't do it.
Cameron is yet to test anybody in this inning, and still holding at first as it's in there for a strike on Floyd.
Look at the pitch. I don't think Cliff liked this at all. Ball was down. Oh, that's clearly a strike. Came back to the plate. Good movement. Right about knee high.
Penny has been particularly tough in the month of July. He is 2-0 with a 1.90 ERA. Cliff Floyd in this at bat now 3 different times has asked for time, and it's been granted by Reynolds. I wonder if that's beginning to irritate Penny a little bit. Right-hander comes set. Cameron at first. He's running. The pitch is very high. Rose with a throw. The tag not in time. Cameron lifts second base as he steals against the rookie catcher and Brad Penny.
Well, you get the 2 strikes, And you send Cameron. Willie Randolph choosing that because even if you get thrown out, then you save an at-bat from Cliff Floyd and get him back up there with no strikes on him, back of the count at even at 0. And if you do get a stolen base, boom, you got Cliff Floyd with a strike left and a man in scoring position. That's a good move.
Yesterday it was Jason Phillips behind the plate that the Mets really picked on. Today Rose. And once again Cliff Floyd asking for time. Runner at second, 2 down. The Mets trying to squeeze out an early run here with a 2-out hit. No score first inning. Swing and a miss. A wave and strike 3 for Floyd. Kind of disgusted with his at bat as Penny struck out Beltran and Floyd back to back. 0-0 after 1. Back at Shea, 0-0 after 1. Kris Benson back to work against Kent, Jason Worth, and then Hee-Seop Choi of the Dodgers. He went 1-2-3 very quietly in the first inning. Benson with a 6-3 record coming in, but the Mets are 11-4 in his starts here in 2005. Kent lines it toward the middle. One hop. Cairo with the stab and throws him out. Another ground ball out. That's 3 of the first 4 retired with grounders. And this season, your Tri-State Hyundai dealer and the WB11 are teaming up to help kids strike out cancer. Every strikeout recorded by a Met pitcher adds $75 to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund. If you'd like to contribute, please call 212-305-1420. A man out for Jason Worth, the number 5 hitter. Batting .243, 5 homers. He's driven in 25. Inside for ball 1. A.J. Burnett gets the start today for the Marlins in San Francisco. Bringing up the question, is that going to be his last start with Florida? Or are the Orioles finally going to acquire A.J. Burnett? They covet him more than any other pitcher. But are they going to pull off that deal? Will it include Mike Lowell? A lot of trade winds starting to blow as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline at the end of July. Hee-Seop Choi on deck. Bases are clear here with 1 down, and the 1-1 pitch from Benson. Foul straight back.
You think the Mariners are going to give up on Burnett?
The Marlins?
I mean, the Marlins, excuse me, yes.
I think they are reluctant to give him away in a 1-for-1 deal. They're trying to dump some salary and maybe dump Mike Lowell, who has just had a horrible season. Actually, going back to the All-Star break of last year, Lowell has been pretty dreadful with the bat. They must think something's up there. That's in there for strike 3. Second K in the book for Benson. Right at the knees on Worth, and they're 2 down.
Fastball or splitter? I think fastball in perfect location. Boy, he's got great movement. 2 directions at the hitting zone. Down and laterally, too. Right at the knees. Great camera shot there. Right at the knees, taken for a strike. And what I'm talking about, A.J. Burnett, too, David, is that, you know, when you become certainly there are a lot of injuries that play in this formula.
Oh, yeah, he's had Tommy John.
But you say, okay, you're a prospect. You're a prospect for a franchise-type pitcher, that kind of stuff. And you become a prospect so long that after a while you become a suspect. Is it ever going to blossom? Or is it just going to be a career of teasing and teasing with his immeasurable talent that never blossoms?
The guy Kerry Wood comes to mind as exactly the kind of guy you're talking about.
That's not the only one. I mean, there's a bunch of them. You know, I mean, there are several of them like that. But I mean, a person with lights-out kind of stuff, you know, but can barely get past being a 500 pitcher, and can't pitch, doesn't pitch 250 innings, doesn't do all the things that those kinds of people with that kind of ability do.
Well, that's been the ultimate frustration with him. Swinging a drive by Hee-Seop Choi to right. Cameron backing up, and reaches up and makes the catch. Looking up into the sunshine, he hauled it in, but it was a bit of an adventure for Mike Cameron in right field. The over-the-shoulder grab. 1-2-3 they go. Scoreless in the bottom of the second, and Mets fans join us back here on the WB11 this Thursday for the first game of a big series with Houston. Don't miss an inning. It's the Mets against the Astros. All starting Thursday at 8, followed by 2 big games next weekend right here on the WB11. Tom Seaver, Dave O'Brien with you, and delighted to be along here on a Sunday afternoon. A sun-kissed day at Shea Stadium. It's absolutely spectacular in there for a strike on David Wright. Wright has hit in 10 consecutive games, and over that span hitting .385, lifting his average to .294. Hits that one through the hole for a base hit. Kent can't get there. Making an 11-gamer for David Wright. And a good start to the second inning for the Mets.
Well, they give David Wright a big hole on the right side. With 1 strike, he goes that way. Pretty good pitch by Penny. But the defense gives him a hole. He took advantage of it. Good piece of hitting right there. Look at the contact. Going the other way. No question about, I will take my single right here. If you give me that hole and I've got a strike on me against Penny, who is throwing very well, I'll take my lousy single to right field and lead off an inning. Good baseball by Wright.
Mike Piazza now. Mike had .259, 11 homers, 42 runs batted in. Took yesterday off, but you knew he would not against Brad Penny. He hits him very well. He's 8 for 23 off him with 2 homers. It's a .348 lifetime against the right-hander. 0-0 second inning. Milwaukee leads Cincinnati 1-0 there in the second inning. Detroit on top of Minnesota 1-0 there in the third. Washington and Houston still 0-0. Piazza's standing out now as Penny takes a step off the rubber. We saw Cliff Floyd do that several times in the first inning. Curveball is outside. 2-0. Derek Lee with a big day yesterday for the Cubs. Hit his 32nd home run against St. Louis in a 6-5 Chicago win. Derek Lee leading the National League in batting average and in home runs. Filed away by Piazza. And right now he is second in the RBI column to Carlos Lee of Milwaukee. He's 1 behind him. Carlos Lee with 82 runs batted in. As Derek Lee makes a run at the Triple Crown.
A great story going down the last couple of months, wasn't it?
Boy. Saw him on opening day. I think he drove in 5 runs at 3 or 4 hits. He has been locked in since his very first at bat this season. Swinging a drive, shot out to left. Edwards backing up. That one is gone. Mike Piazza with his 12th home run of the season to jump on Brad Penny and make it a 2-0 Met lead here in the second inning. Mike has been getting curtain calls every time he hits a home run here in the second half. We'll see if the fans demand another one. On a 2-1 pitch, a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Piazza sent it out at about 110 miles an hour. Moving up the charts on the all-time home run list. Tying Nettles now at 390. And a lot of the fans want that curtain call. We'll see if Mientkiewicz steps out. He does not. And the fans continue to cheer for Mike Piazza, asking him to come to the top step. And there's Mike. Get too hot to stand up that long and cheer.
Hey, look at the swing, pitch, and out of here on a line. No doubt it for Mike Piazza. He has had his way with Brad Penny.
Third home run he's hit off him in 24 at bats. Mientkiewicz really heating up at the plate. The overall batting average doesn't reflect it at .225, but he's hit 2 home runs in his last 3 games, hitting about .300 in his last 14. And over that span of 14 games, Doug with 5 homers and 8 runs batted in. We talked with him earlier today, and he told Lolita Lopez that Gerald Williams, more than any other of his teammates, has been, in Doug's words, a godsend. A guy that he can kind of unload his problems on and talk hitting with. Although Williams has not played very much since the Mets brought him onto the club, the benefactor has really been Minkiewicz as far as Doug's concerned.
And Doug was talking about that, gets on him all the time. Constantly looking and criticizing constructively.
Chatting up Rick now, and that's ball 4. So Minkiewicz is on. Second walk already by Brad Penny.
And he doesn't walk anybody. Only 18 walks coming into this ball game and over 100 innings pitched, 106 to be exact.
It all makes sense, though, when you look at his Shea Stadium record and his career mark against the Mets, which has been pretty dreadful. 2-8 coming into today. Is Miguel Cairo at 265, 1 home run, 9 runs batted in. He's hit safely in 6 out of 8. Mets on the board, 2-0 on the Piazza homer. And that is up high for ball 1. We had merengue nights on Friday, a huge crowd. Today, Italian Day at Shea. So how appropriate, Mike Piazza driving one out of the ballpark for his 12th home run and his very first at bat. Minkiewicz is taking off. Swung on and lifted foul along the right field line. Worth giving chase, but that's off into the stands. But the Mets ultra aggressive in this series against Los Angeles, more so than maybe any other series this year. Certainly the last 2 days that's the case. Doug Minkiewicz taking off on that pitch, so the Mets had a play on a hit and run. The hole is opened up there on the right side with Isop Choi holding Minkiewicz. Runner holds this time on the breaking ball in for strike.
A lot of fastballs from Brad Penny. Here's the good curveball. Totally fooled Cairo. Location wasn't as good, but the break was sharp and straight down.
Fouled away again.
Again, trying to go to right field. Willie Randolph trying to be aggressive. It's not easy to call a hit and run on a guy that's got as good a fastball as Brad Penny does. Cairo has real good back control, and again that big hole on the right side. He's one of the best in the lineup and the ball club for the Mets, going the opposite way and take advantage of the big room on the right.
Lifts that little pop down the left field line. That's going to fall in for a base hit. He pulled that one. Minkiewicz into second and stops there. It's the 3rd hit in the inning off Penny, who still hasn't gotten anybody out. 2 singles, a homer, and a walk, and he's in trouble.
Like a little tennis serve down the left field line, something off speed. It's that same pitch like Floyd struck out on in the first inning, almost like a backup curveball. And you see contact here, right on the ball, head down, not a real big swing with a couple of strikes. Another two-strike base hit for the Mets.
And Jim Colburn, the pitching coach, coming to the hill here. Try and find out what is up with Brad Penny. Now, earlier in the season, in fact, right out of spring training, they put him on the disabled list with bicep tendonitis. He's recovered from that and came in pitching really well. He's been roughed up here in the second inning, though. His last 2 pitches of the game have been his fastest, 95 and 96 miles an hour. But Cairo got around enough to lob one into left field, and that puts runners at first and second.
David, you were talking about before about the Florida Marlins, and he's another one of those guys out of that organization. They had a whole bushel full of guys that were big and could throw hard.
Still do.
And still do is right.
Might be about to dump one of them. Here's Benson squaring to bunt. Lets it go, and it's in for a strike. Now, how in the world can you bunt Kris Benson? 240, Tom. With 4 runs batted in, he has a double.
A hefty 242, by the way. And they're not a cheapie in that bunch of base hits either. They're all line drives.
As we remember, drops down a bunt foul. Scooped up quickly by Rose. He tried to get to it before the umpire could see it. Jim Reynolds, he was right on it.
That looked like he jabbed. No, bat head went down.
It did drop out in front of the plate, too.
A lot of theories on bunting, too, and the one that made most of sense to me is that back foot. Benson's right foot should come around a little bit, get a little bit better balance. Gil Hodges was an advocate of that, passed that along to his pitchers on how to bunt.
How about Reyes' bunt yesterday? That picture perfect bunt to the right side that he deadened into that no man's land between the pitcher's mound and first.
And with his speed, nobody's going to get it.
In there for a strike, got him looking, and that's all for Benson, who cannot do the job he was brought up to do. Walks away, shaking his head gently. Called out on strikes, the third K for Penny.
And you would hope it's about shaking your head about yourself, because you do not want the umpire, if you're the pitcher, to see you shaking your head and thinking you're not calling the strike. See, this foot's got to come right in over into here. So you get your hips rotated a little bit. He can't get to anything on the outside part of the plate. Where the bat head is, there's nothing out there he can't get it to without the bat head going down. So it's just a matter of function of how to bunt.
And here's Reyes. Jose 0 for 1. He's grounded out to second. I can't believe Benson was disappointed with the umpire.
If he was, you don't tell him.
Well, that pitch was right on the corner. That caught 3 inches of the plate. One nothing. Grounded back to Penny. He looks at second, throws there, got the out, and that's all they'll get. Runners safely on the corners, but now with 2 down. Penny got the certain out. So Jose Reyes becomes the runner at first base.
Probably only 3 ways you'd be able to double up Jose Reyes. One would be the one hopper right back to the mound, hit sharply in a real quick turn, or a ball that's hit to the shortstop's left or the second baseman's right. It's probably the only way you would ever get to double up Jose Reyes, especially when he's batting for the right side.
Cameron walked and stole a base in the first inning. We'll see if Reyes is taking off on the first pitch or the second pitch. He's holding here, and the breaking ball is in for a strike. After yesterday's amazing performance by Reyes, Pedro Martinez was gushing about Jose. He said, when I'm finished, I'm going to get the best seat to see him play. I will pay whatever price to see him play baseball. He runs, swung on and missed. The throw, the tag, and got him. He is out at second. Reyes cut down. And a good chuck by Rose right on the money to end the inning. Kent slanting over with the tag, got him. And that's the side for the Mets. Piazza goes yard, and the Mets lead at 2-0 here in the top half of the third inning. And Kris Benson with a little bit of a lead will take on the bottom 3 in the order in Mike Edwards, Mike Rose, and then Brad Penny. So a chance for a very quick inning for the Met right-hander. 6-3 on the season, and in need of a little bit of luck and some run support. Edwards, a rookie left fielder. He's never faced Benson until today. Swinging a pretty good bat at 286 with a home run. Good contact hitter. He's batted 156 times since they brought him up. He's only struck out 19 times. 1 ball, 1 strike on him. Jim Tracy has started him 24 times at third base, and as of today now 13 times at left field. Tracy likes to use him as a pinch hitter too, and he's 6 out of 14 in that role. Benson with a 1-1 pitch, and it's fouled right back to the net. The Mets on the road tonight and heading for Colorado, about to open up a series against the Rockies, who have been a bad ball club several years in a row now, but at home they're kind of tough at Coors Field. The 1-2 pitch, dropped it down a little low. 2-2.
Can you imagine going on a road trip with the Colorado Rockies? How much fun that ought to be. 10-39.
Tommy Glavine, a pitch tomorrow in game 1, goes in 7-7.
Can you imagine me 10-39 on the road?
Can't bring the ballpark with them.
Man.
Of course, they've traded Preston Wilson, now a member of the Washington Nationals, so they don't even have that dangerous bat in the lineup. 9:05 for the first pitch tomorrow night, and then it'll be on to Houston. Pedro Martinez next scheduled start is Thursday against Brandon Backey. They want to emphasize scheduled start on Pedro because he's got a foot that is aching right now. fact, at one point yesterday, Doug Minkiewicz had to tell Miguel Cairo, make sure you get over there and cover first on a little hopper to the right side, because Pedro's having a little bit of difficulty getting over there. Not that it would necessarily prevent him from making his next turn. Little comebacker. Benson throws on to get Edwards. That's 7 in a row set down by Kris Benson to start his Sunday.
One of the things that Benson does very well, he's a good athlete, his field his position, very agile. Get over there, stop the ball, get plenty of time. Looked up in this, the guys in the truck looked it up. The Mets, their first year, in their inaugural year, they were 18-62 on the road. 18-62. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun either, does it? Huh?
No, sir.
And I think the average age was probably about 36 on that ball club. Ashburn and Hodges.
I think I know where you're going with that.
Well,
Mike Rose hitting .219. He's 28 years old, but he's a rookie. After spending 10 years in the minor leagues, he finally got his major league call up for the first time last season. Played in 2 games with the Oakland A's. Made his major league debut as a pinch runner on October 1st last year. It was almost one of those Moonlight Graham stories. Get in as a pinch hitter, you make your big league debut, and they never hear from you again. But here he is with the LA Dodgers. He puts it in play, a little bounding ball to Cairo, and another ground out. Benson doing a great job keeping his stuff down. As we look at today's pitchers, high speed brought to you by Verizon Online DSL, now twice as fast as before.
And again, Benson 91 in both innings, a high of 92nd for Penny, 96 in the second inning. Benson, one of the things you talk about, David, movement at the hitting zone, and that's exactly what Benson has. And the ball moving down, a lot of the bottom half, hit the bottom half of the bat.
Brad Penny, the pitcher. Big guy, he can run into one, but he's hitting .138, no homers and 1 run batted in. Nobody on base. In fact, no one has reached first base yet today against Benson. And from the looks of things, that swing would not suggest Penny will be the first one to do so.
That won't be on the training film, you mean?
The 0-2 pitch, a little bit high. Due up for the Mets in the bottom half of the third inning. It'll be Cameron, Beltran, and Floyd. Cameron was left at home plate when Jose Reyes was thrown out at second trying to steal. Met team that has not been caught very often this season trying to steal. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Just low, 2-2.
Well, we're 1 pitch away from being out of the third inning, at least the top half of it, and Kris Benson has thrown only 31 pitches so far. He retired 8 in a row and is 1 pitch away from number 9.
He kicks and delivers, and it's dribbled foul as Penny spoiled it. So the road trip coming up for the New York Mets sends them to Colorado and Houston, and that will take care of the month of July. The next homestand will begin on Tuesday, August 2nd against Milwaukee. The Brewers in for 3, and the Cubs follow for 3 games over that weekend. Here comes the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He struck him out, and the side is retired. That is 9 up and 9 down against Benson. He's perfect so far. Mets baseball is being brought to you today by Nissan and your Nissan dealers. By T-Mobile. Get more minutes, more features, more service. And by your Tri-State Volkswagen dealers. Tom Seaver, Dave O'Brien with you as Mike Cameron prepares to hit. He walked and stole a base in the first inning. Beltran and Floyd after him up against Brad Penny. Against whom the Mets have scored twice. That was on 1 cut. Mike Piazza with a 2-run homer after David Wright had singled. Wright extending his hitting streak to 11 in a row. And Piazza knocked it out of the ballpark, and no doubter to left, deep up into that Pepsi picnic area. Mike Cameron up. Left stranded at the plate when Reyes was cut down on the attempted steal in the second inning. And Penny's first pitch to him is hit sharply. Down for it is Turris. Very smooth shortstop, up and over in plenty of time for the out. Beltran marching up to hit next. The Mets' upcoming schedule brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts, the official coffee of the New York Mets. Tom Glavine starts the series in Colorado tomorrow.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they go down to Houston for 4 days down there against a pretty good ball club playing pretty good baseball, those Houston Astros.
The Astros with another recovery. They are 12 games out. Swinging a drive, left center, slicing. Bradley on his horse, can't get there. It bounces and it's up and into the fence on one hop. Beltran's thinking 3. He's heading for third. The throw will not get him. A triple for Carlos Beltran. Carlos is beginning to show the speed. There was one huge reason the Mets wanted him so badly. Stole a base yesterday, a triple today.
And got a high breaking ball hanger in the left center. And you get a triple because you come out of the box well and make third base. You can see him right here thinking 3 if he can get it. If you're going to shut it down, that's where you shut it right there. But Beltran running extremely well. His second triple of the year with 1 out. The Mets have a runner at third base in scoring position for Cliff Floyd.
Well, everyone gets electrified watching Jose Reyes go from home to third. Carlos Beltran's a different kind of runner, eating up huge chunks with those long strides, but so graceful. Infield in for Floyd, and Cliff takes down low for ball 1. How about the comments yesterday Willie Randolph made after the game? He's been very sensitive as far as overhyping Jose Reyes. Sensitive to not overhype him. Kind of bring expectations down a little bit as Floyd flicks that one foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. But even Willie had to gush after the game. He said before it's over, before it's all said and done, some of these guys are going to be telling people how they used to play with Jose Reyes. Pedro said, in my next life, I want to come back with the ability that Jose has. I might even become a shortstop. Infield in tight, 1 out, runner at third, and the 1-1. Swinging a drive, high and deep to right. If it's fair, it is gone along the pole, but he pulled it too much foul. Floyd just missing number 24.
Pitch inner half. Nope, right in the middle of the plate, and just a touch too much top hand. And turn that bat just a millimeter, and it got out in front of that ball, hooked to the right of that foul pole. No doubter when it left the bat.
Oh, you remember his bat against the Angels, very similar to this, although it was a very long at bat. He tried the body English after driving one deep into the corner, foul. Looked like that would have been the last best hope for the Mets, maybe. And then during that same at bat, that incredible at bat for Cliff, he launched that 3-run homer in extra innings to win an absolute thriller.
Jeff Kent doing all the counseling on the mound with Brad Penny. I would imagine about trying to get something down in the strike zone with downward movement, the runner on third base and 1 out.
Check swing, 2-2.
All the other things that he could be talking about, said, listen, you know, you got a right-hand hitter on deck, 1 out. Play for a double play. Make your pitch. Make your hitter, the hitter in this situation, make him hit your pitch. If you walk him, so what? We'll try and turn a double play.
Swing a shot to center field. Bradley starting back, reaches up, and he dropped the ball. That one's going to roll all the way to the wall. In comes Beltran to score, and Floyd into second base. That makes it 3-0 Mets. Bradley has been running left and right and back throughout the inning, and he has not been able to catch anything yet. Floyd with a shot to dead center.
Well, he got the ball down, but Cliff Floyd got underneath it. It was a breaking ball, and he kept his hands back straight away to center field. It looked like it was a ball that Bradley should have. He was cruising right after it. And we saw the same thing kind of happen to Cameron in right field when he timed that ball, hit down toward that right field corner. The ball almost tried to get away from him, and it did right there against Bradley.
Cliff with his 12th double of the season to drive in a run. He comes up with his first hit in the series. And so as a team here in the first 3 innings, the Mets have hit for the cycle against Penny. One of everything. The runner goes, a swing and a miss, and no throw by Rose. Cliff Floyd taking third. The New York Mets are running wild against the Dodgers in this series. Second stolen base today for the Mets after 5 yesterday.
Sometimes you can catch a pitcher asleep. Good jump at second base by Floyd. His 9th stolen base easily. You got a pitcher on the mound that is worried about his pitching. Worried about location, worried about release point, whatever it is that Brad Penny is uncomfortable with. And allows the runner to get to third base with less than 2 outs again. Second time in a row. It happened with Floyd and happened right here with David Wright. Good aggressive base running by the Mets.
Mike Piazza with a 2-run homer in the second inning, waiting on deck. That one cradled by Rose. The Mets have stolen 8 bases in the 3 games of this series so far. That's only the 3rd inning of game 3. Cliff Floyd taking third, uncontested. Reyes with a couple of stolen bases yesterday. Tried one earlier here today, was thrown out, but the Mets are undaunted. And ahead 3-0, trying to win this series. Breaking ball, little pop up behind first. Aesop Choi looking up into the sun. He's got it. Runner Floyd holding at third base. 2 down. And Mike Piazza to the cheers in his ears, heading up to swing again. This is what he did in the second inning.
Mike got a little fastball middle in, flipped that hip open and got the bat head to the ball. 2-run shot line drive, his 12th of the year. And for him, RBIs number 43 and 44, just turning around that 94-mile-an-hour fastball. We just cleared the left side of that body. Is so strong, got those hands right through the hitting zone.
Mike, of course, a free agent at the end of the season. Fans making sure to appreciate every special moment that he turns in here in the second half. Floyd at third, 2 down, a run in, 3-0 Mets. Right through it for strike 1. 5 hits for the Mets. The Dodgers have not had a base runner in their first 3 innings. The 0-1 pitch. Tried the outside corner and came up empty. Atlanta yet to get started. Their day game today with Arizona will begin in a little while. Here's the 1-1 from the 6'4" right-hander. Foul the other way. Now 1-2. So we'll see how Mike Piazza protects here with 2 strikes. Penny has hung a couple of breaking balls today, although he does have 3 strikeouts. The 1-2 pitch, fastball in, fought off by Piazza. He had to get started quickly on a 95-mile-an-hour pitch.
Last 2 pitches have been 95. You see Mike really throwing those hips open. He's got a new little stance, a little crouch. He's a little bit lower. The knees look like the knees are bent a little bit more, a little turned over at the chest.
That curveball rolled. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mankiewicz looking for an opportunity here, but there are 2 out. Floyd leading at third.
That's just got his average up over 260 now.
Piazza sitting yesterday. Willie Randolph, true to his word, he's going to give him as much time off as he can in the second half. Swing liner, 1 hop. That eats up Kent. It caroms into right field, and another run is in. Floyd scores, and it's 4-0. Kent certainly had a play, although it was a hot smash. It skipped up on him and into the outfield to produce the 4th run of the day for the Mets.
It almost looked like it took a bad hop. Mike Piazza hit it very hard. And it looks like it took a bad hop. After it hit Kent, he didn't know where it went. Yeah, Mike hit it real well going the other way with 2 strikes. Now watch the ball after it hits the infield and really kicks up and kicked back to the right. Kent lost it.
I think largely because of that, Tom, it will be a hit.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was bad hop and it was hit so hard. Another RBI for Piazza, 3 on the day.
And the Mets lead it 4-0. Inning still alive from Minkiewicz then. He walked in the second inning. He homered here on Friday night against Jeff Weaver in that comeback bid that fell 1 run short against the Dodgers. Yesterday, the Mets fell behind 3-0 as Pedro Martinez did not have his best stuff, but still got the win. His 12th of the year as the Mets rallied, came from behind, and won that one on Saturday afternoon.
Sometimes you get a little help from your friends. Certainly, but Pedro's not going to. Games he's pitches this year, sometimes he's not going to win that he's deserved to. He got one yesterday.
Left field line, there's Edwards for the catch, and that's the 3rd out. But the Mets put a couple of more runs up on the scoreboard. A triple, a double, and a Mike Piazza single. Mike Piazza with 3 RBIs already. The Mets have a 4-0 lead on the Dodgers as we bring you the 4th inning. We'll take a look right now at the out-of-town scores brought to you by Lexus. Houston, Washington, they're 0-0 in the 4th inning. Washington still tied with Atlanta atop the National League East in first place. Milwaukee out in front on Cincinnati. The Pirates have the lead on Colorado, 2-zip there in the 3rd. In the American League later on, it'll be the Yankees and the Angels, but the Yankees have fallen 2.5 games behind Boston, having dropped 3 straight. We get rain in Cleveland. Red Sox play the White Sox a little later at 3:05. And it'll be Oscar Robles, the rookie third baseman, although he's 29 years old, to lead things off here. Gonna wait. A little cleanup being done on the left field warning track.
A couple of young rookies on this team, huh?
That's not one of them. No, it's not a Dodger rookie. His rookie days.
That's an original Brooklyn Dodger right there.
Robles with a ball outside. He's 0 for 1. He's grounded out to second. Benson's been perfect. Got the 1, 2, 3 in each of the first 3 innings. And 6 ground outs among the 9 outs he has recorded. Robles, a study in perseverance. He was drafted as a shortstop by the Astros way back in 1994. Got as high as AAA in 97, but he stalled there behind shortstops Carlos Guillen and Julio Lugo. Then he badly dislocated his ankle in 1998. He missed all of the 99 season. And then Robles disappeared into the Mexican leagues. Pretty much unwanted until the Dodgers were desperate for a third baseman, because of lots of injuries there and the disappointment of the Japanese third baseman Norihiro Nakamura. It just didn't pan out for them. And so Robles, 29 years old, a rookie in the big leagues, finally gets a serious shot. Here's the 2-1. That's too high, and he's hit very well. Started the afternoon hitting .325. Not a lot of power, but he's a good line drive hitter. A lot of good hitters in the Mexican leagues who have made it to the majors last few years. That's a cross for strike. Cesar Torres on deck, then Milton Bradley. The Dodgers have been unable to do a thing with Kris Benson. The count has gone to 3-2. The crowd wants him to keep it going. Swing, ground ball, kicked over to third, right, scoops it, fires, and gets him. The kick save for Kris Benson. The ricochet. 1-5-3. And Benson's just fine. 1 man out.
Talked earlier about Benson and feeling his position. Didn't get his glove down on that one. And a nice carom over to David Wright. Good reaction by him, and plenty of time to get the runner at first base. A one-hopper, right off the shoe. I thought it was the shin, but that shot looked like it came off of his shoe. The old shoe polish ball. That keeps the unmentionable alive. I didn't say anything.
Here's Cesar Torres, 0 for 1. He's grounded out to third. Trying to bunt, drops it down, and it's going to stay fair, and that's going to be the first hit and the first base runner. The crowd doesn't like it. They boo the effort by his tourist, but it's the first hit today against Benson.
See, if you hadn't said something.
I didn't say anything. You said unmentionable. I said don't mention.
I'm glad this is going right to you. All arrows will point to O'Brien on this one.
Oh, sir, you can't pin this baby on me.
I am throwing a guilt off my back. No chance with the speed of his tourists.
That bunt in the 4th inning to break up a no-hit bid, perfect game bid, it's early enough that you can't be too critical.
Not at all. Totally legitimate.
And that's the 8th inning. The runner goes, and it's sliced foul on a play by Milton Bradley.
The Dodgers are not a running club. David made that point on Friday night in that ball game. Just 38 stolen bases. 22 times they have been thrown out. To put it in a relative term, the Mets lead the National League in stolen bases with 80. They've only been thrown out 22 times. The Dodgers, who always have been a very fundamentally sound ball club as far as offense, defense, running the bases. And they just don't have any speed this year.
When you were growing up, there was a Dodger way.
Oh, there's no question about it.
A Dodger way, not just pitchers, but I mean, I'm talking about how to play the game.
Yeah, and pitchers as well, from top to bottom. The organization was one of the most respected in all of baseball. That organization, certainly the Yankee organization, the St. Louis Cardinal organization, on how fundamentally you do things. And of course, the great things that happened to the New York Mets in their early years, they got Gil Hodges to run this ball club, and he brought that great sense of Dodger tradition to this franchise.
1 ball and 1 strike on Milton Bradley. He whiffed in the 1st inning.
I mean, today when we saw, Kurt Benson scoring around a bunt after how many years in the big leagues, and as far as I'm concerned, does not mechanically do it correctly. And I say that because Gil Hodges took me aside and said, listen, this is the way you will bunt. So you'll be able to get to the outside pitch.
Were you not such a good bunter before that?
I was a good bunter. He made me a better bunter. And that's the point, that you're not always totally satisfied, in the sense of, and when Gil said something, it wasn't, oh, well, I'll think about it for a couple of days. I mean, it wasn't an option.
I'll take that under advisement, Mr. Hodges. I'll get back to you on Wednesday.
I'll have my secretary get back to you, but, before the weekend.
Yeah. Well, the Dodgers, when Walter Alston was there, very much the same way. I know that it was not Walter, it wasn't Skip, it was Mr.
It was the organization.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was run, and the fundamentals were paramount.
Benson with another 3-ball count, 3-1 on Bradley here. His tourist taking off, and that's down and in for ball 4. So Benson, maybe a bit rattled by the bunt, walks Bradley, and with 1 down, that puts runners at 1st and 2nd. Remember, also a hard hit ball by Robles off his foot to start the inning, although he kicked that right into an out. And here's Jeff Kent.
Well, that'll bring Rick Peterson out of the dugout to talk to Kris Benson.
Rick, the only guy in the ballpark wearing a jacket.
That's because he doesn't have a shirt on underneath it.
I don't know if I really needed to know that, but thanks.
Well, let's follow the bouncing ball. Be logical here. I mean, what else? It has to be a T-shirt and just a jacket over the top. The old days, you couldn't do that. That was not done. But they're so fashion conscious now. Look at that. Stripes and all kinds of neat stuff.
I'm not knocking the look, but I mean the fashion choice on a day where it's
90 degrees at Shea Stadium. That's
Jeff Kent 0 for 1. He's grounded out to 2nd.
Yeah, this is obviously not what Rick Peterson or Willie Randolph or Benson wanted. You get a 4-run lead and work it around and walk a hitter to get to the best hitter in the lineup.
Is Turris and Bradley on the bases, some pretty good speed for Los Angeles, and it's ball 1 outside.
Kent hit the ball well the first time up, hit it right at the second baseman. Hit it hard, but an easy play for Cairo.
Jeff Kent, baseball's all-time leading home run hitter among second basemen, with 295 round trippers playing that position. 2-0. We broached the subject the other night as to whether or not you consider Jeff Kent a Hall of Famer. But the numbers are beginning to get hard to get around if you disagree with him being a Hall of Fame caliber player.
And second base, he can have 400 home runs. You were talking about that. He's got a chance at that. How old is he? 37, we said?
2-0 pitch, popped up.
He wants that one back. He just missed it.
Infield fly in effect, and Reyes with the grab.
Oh, he got a pitch to drive, and Kris Benson got lucky right there. It looked like he left something right about belt high in the middle of the plate. Take a look from center field. Oh, doctor, look at that one. Head right down on it. Oh, he's going to have that back, please. And when you're hot, you don't miss those. Need a home run. Talking about Kent, did a home run on Friday night. And that pitch was right there. Boy, sometimes you're a pitcher, you'd rather be lucky than good.
Here's Jason Worth, caught looking on a third strike in the second inning. First and second, 2 down for Los Angeles. This is their first and so far only threat today. It is downstairs for ball 1.
Did you catch my old doctor?
I did, and I was going to bring that up. I know that old doctor, and a number of announcers have used that. None as brilliantly as you just did, I might add.
No.
But Jerry Coleman,
yep,
the voice of the Padres,
that's
uses
exactly right.
And also hang a star on that one with a great defensive play.
And the reason I bring it up is this coming weekend, next weekend, is a Hall of Fame induction a week from today, and I am presenting to the presenter, Jerry Coleman. They asked me to introduce him, and I said I would be more than happy to.
As the winner of the Fort Frick Award.
That's correct.
Broadcast Hall of Fame winner. And there for strike on Jason Worth. That's a nice honor for you.
Absolutely.
Certainly for Jerry Coleman, who's one of our favorite guys. Always a treat to be around.
2 wars that he's been in. Champion baseball player.
And an icon in San Diego.
Absolutely. And one of the nicest men you ever want to meet in your entire life.
2 on, 2 out here. 4-0 Mets, and it's lifted into right field. Fairly well hit, but Cameron saunters over now, moves a little quicker and jumps up and can't get to it. Out of play, out of the range of Mike Cameron.
Cameron fighting the sun and almost able to make a spectacular play. Boy, does he have athletic ability or what?
Yeah, you look at that and you say, well, the high jump
and he
planned the hurdles.
Yeah, and he planned to do that. He was timing that to be able to do it. Wow.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Worth. Reed thin hitter. He's about 6'4", pretty good power. Benson with eyes on a strikeout. Inside and backed him off the plate. 2-2.
Fastball running in, way in off the plate. Nope, not by much, but a good acting job by the hitter.
Is Turson Bradley on the bases, and another slicer foul. Of course, also in Southern California, other than the great Vin Scully, the Dodgers have another Hall of Fame broadcaster, a wonderful man, Jaime Jarrín.
And he's here today.
He's here today calling the game to the massive Spanish audience, the Latin audience in Southern California. Talk about a man who's a treat to be around. Here's the pitch, fouled away by Worth. Do you think the Dodgers have the broadcast thing covered pretty well?
Oh, I think they can,
They made some pretty good choices.
They made some pretty good front line. Kris Benson, after 3 innings, had 33 pitches through 3 innings. He now has 54.
2 down. Here's the 2-2. Benson working hard for this out. Swing fouled away. Inside, ran it right up and in on the forearms of Jason Worth. He fought it off again.
Jason Worth, and your point well taken, David, because he's fighting off everything. The last 4 or 5 pitches have been very good by Kris Benson, and he is able to fight them off. A foul to the right a couple of times, and that one foul to the left field on the left field side. Broke his bat. Good hitters will keep themselves alive by being able to foul off hitters' pitches and get the kind of pitch that Kent popped up in this inning. This is a fastball that ran right back in about belt high in the middle of the plate, And Kent hit the bottom half of the ball and popped it up in the infield.
Now this is the longest at bat of the game. The 8th pitch coming up next. Benson says yes to Piazza, ready. And the 2-2. Another piece of it for Jason Worth. A very lengthy at bat for him. Benson digging for that final out here in the 4th inning. An inning that has seen the Dodgers come up with their first base runner and first hit on the Cesar Izturis bunt. The 2-2. Little dribbler toward third. Fair ball. Benson will bare hand throw. Much too late. Cradled by Minkevich. And the bases are going to be loaded up here for Los Angeles. Worth with a base hit all the way on this one.
Well, a swinging bunt. The hitter will say it'll be a line drive tomorrow on the box score. Nice try by Benson, but no chance right there. Think about this. We got big left-hand hitter who had a good night on Friday night and hit the ball the first time up to right field.
Aesop Choi with a pair of doubles on Friday.
Both of them to left field.
0 for 1 with a fly to right so far today. The bases are filled up with 2 down. So all of a sudden that 4-0 Met lead that they carried into the inning doesn't look all that imposing. Aesop Choi does. That's 6'4", about 250. Right through the chute for strike 1. The catch by Mike Cameron on Aesop Choi back in the 2nd inning. Got a nice ovation from the fans here at Shea. They stood for him behind the dugout along first. Nice over the shoulder catch. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Benson. Just a little low, and it's 1-1. Izturis, Bradley, and Worth all on base here in the 4th inning. Benson trying to protect his shutout bid. Very deliberate with men on base here. Here comes the 1-1. Ran it in and almost hit Aesop Choi on the elbow. He jumped and spun out of the way. On that angle, not quite as close as Aesop Choi thought. The 2-1 pitch. Swing high. Pop up. Right center. Backing out Cairo. Cameron coming on. Cameron wants it and takes it. In shallow right center field, he ran it down and the side is retired. The Dodgers load up the bases. Cameron calling all the way, and they leave them loaded with that catch. Here's a look at the Lexus line score. The Mets on top 4-0. Got a pair in the 2nd inning on a Mike Piazza 2-run homer. Piazza chipping in with an RBI single in his next at bat in the 3rd, as the Mets had a triple from Beltran, a double by Floyd, and a Piazza base knock. And now lead it 4-0. Benson pitching out of trouble as he got Aesop Choi to pop up to right moments ago with the bases loaded. Cairo puts it in play. Izturis with a routine ground ball up and over for the out. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the bottom of the 4th. And now Benson, who struck out looking, well, in the process of trying to sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning, he will hit here with the bases empty. Washington in the 6th inning has a 1-0 lead on Houston. Keeping an eye on the Nationals and the Braves because they are tied for first in the National League East. Every team in the division won yesterday. Phillies won. Right now, Philadelphia with a half-game advantage over the Mets as we check out the standings. And the Marlins 5.5 out. How much longer for Jack McKeon? And I know you're very fond of Jack McKeon. You guys go way back, but there's a
I'm not that old, for crying out loud.
Way
back there. Way back.
A lot of stories out there on McKeon, and I think a growing concern there in Florida that if they don't make a move on something, be it a big trade involving Burnett or firing McKeon and bringing in somebody else, that they're going to get buried continuing to play like this. Although I don't think anyone's going to get buried in the National League East. It has the feel of a 5-horse race into September. Benson, little dribbler, swinging bunt for him. Down to get it, Rose. Low throw, scooped up by Hee-Seop Choi. Tell you what, Hee-Seop Choi has become a pretty good defensive first baseman.
He was better than pretty good on Friday night. He was spectacular. I mean, there may have been some MVPs in that game, but he was right there with it. He had a terrific defensive game on Friday night here at Shea Stadium. Plenty of time playing off just in case the throw is bad. And Benson going down that line. If the ball would have hit Benson, he'd have been out because he was on the left side of that base path. It's always one of my desires to do that. Find a runner going down there and then fire the ball right into his back. As hard as, especially the guy I didn't like. Like the guy that hit a 3-run home run off you, and next time he hits a little dribbler over there.
But you never did that.
No, never did. They were always 6'4" and about 240. So I said, no, we better not.
I wasn't going to go there. I was going to say your better instincts as a true sportsman and a gentleman.
No. I wish that was the reason. That is not it. It's pure chicken, baby. If you think I was going to fire one into Richie Allen's back, you're crazy. I didn't want my head removed from my body.
Fouled back by Reyes. Jose 0 for 2. By the way, on the topic of great sportsmen, congratulations to Lance Armstrong, who today won his 7th consecutive Tour de France.
Nice little segue up that hill there, Mr. O'Brien.
Up that hill is right. And then down again for him. And boy, that's where he killed everybody in the Pyrenees and in those mountains in the Alps over the years. And
do they finish up on the Champs-Élysées?
They do indeed. That's done.
Do they go through the Arc de Triomphe?
That I don't know.
But you'll find out in about 10 days, though, won't you?
I'm going to ask around when I get there. Head to Paris for a little respite.
And what hotel are you staying in?
We're staying at the highly recommended George Cinq.
And who recommended that to you, my man?
Well, the gentleman hurler Tom Seaver himself. Really looking forward to it. 2-2. Put in play, right side, and Choi with the stop. Underhand flip to Penny. Got there in time, and 1-2-3 they go. We move on to the 5th on a beautiful sunny day at Shea. The Mets up by 4.
Welcome back to beautiful Shea Stadium, where the Mets are dominating this one 4-0 over the LA Dodgers in the top of the 5th. And I am here with Gravy's Train. It's a group from Danny Graves, the reliever, every Sunday home game beginning today throughout the rest of the 2005 season. He will be buying tickets for a group of little leaguers from low-income areas and having them come to one of these Mets games. And right now I'm here with Violet Lopez from the SISDA in the Bronx. How special is it for you guys to be here with all your kids?
It's very, very special because we don't get a chance to come out here. And for them, it was such a great treat. And they're all excited about it.
That's right. And one of those guys is Nick right here. Nick, a 12-year-old. You're baseball. You love it. You want to play yourself in the big league someday?
Yeah.
Nice to be here. What do you think of Danny Graves for doing this for you?
I think it's cool.
Yeah, cool. You're going to be waving if you see him over here in the bullpen?
Yeah.
They're sitting right above the bullpen just for that. And guys, speaking of pitching, we talked to Willie Randolph earlier today. He said Kris Benson is one of those Martinez-esque guys. He's become like one of them. He's been gaining so much confidence, been winning so well that the players come in here and they actually play a little bit better because they know he's going to be on the mound. So thanks to these guys here, thanks to Danny Graves, and gentlemen, back up to you in the booth.
All right, Lolita, thank you very much. Enjoying the day in the sun there, and our thanks to Danny Graves as well. Awfully nice gesture as Mike Edwards laces this one into right, but caught by Cameron. As Mike came in quickly to get to it. 1 man out here in the 5th inning. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Mets. Nothing across on 2 hits for the Dodgers. Neither side has committed an error. And indeed, Benson's confidence level has been soaring. And so have the Mets playing behind him in his recent succession of starts. Each of his last 3 starts going 7 innings. He has not allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of those outings. Rose checks a swing and a pitch outside for ball 1. Although there's no denying, I mean, there's an electricity in the air when it's Pedro on the mound that nobody else can come close to
duplicate.
There's
no question about that.
It's a totally different aura. wrap foul quickly into the stands.
Well, one of the things about Kris, and you go back to his opening day against the Phillies, he got a no decision and the Met win 7-5. He pitched 4 2/3 innings in that ball game. And since then, he has not left the ball game until he has gotten his club at least to the 7th inning. He's pitched at least 6 innings. And the last 3 times of the mound, it has been 7 innings each time. No decision his last 3 times out.
But today getting some run support, mainly from his catcher, Piazza, with 3 RBIs. Blooper but foul, off into the seats.
And I say no decision the last 3 times out. And he's given up 5 earned runs in 21 innings. Pitched 7 innings each ball game. Hits he's given up 10, let's see, 10, 17 hits in those 21 innings. And only 4 walks. And 3 no decisions to show for it.
Mike Rose being pesky here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We talked about this earlier. Rose, who is a rookie, but he's 28 years old, out of Sacramento, California. Started out with the Astros way back in '95 in the rookie league. Played from 1995 through the entire season of 2004 at the minor league level as he bloops a single. That'll fall down for a hit without ever getting a single call-up, not even a cup of coffee at the big league level. So 10 years he toiled in the minor leagues in places like Auburn and Quad City and Jackson, El Paso, Tucson, Trenton, Omaha, Wichita, Sacramento. And finally the Oakland A's brought him up briefly last year. Makes you wonder what drives a guy to ride all of those minor league buses and eat all those nasty cheeseburgers over the years. Stay in those awful hotels. Penny drops down the sacrifice bunt. Benson flips it over to first. Rose safely into second. And 2 men out.
There's the Dodger way. See how he turns around? He's almost 2 square. But he got around so he can get to that outside pitch. Now that's executed nicely. Bat head above the ball. They still teach it that way in the Dodger organization.
He bunted that way when he was with Florida, though.
Well, they have said, okay, that's a good way to bunt. We'll let you do that here with the Dodgers.
Robles 0 for 2. He lays off and it's down low for a ball. Runner at second base here in the 5th inning. Last 2 innings, the Dodgers have put some base runners on against Benson. They had nobody even reach first base in the first 3 innings. His Turris changed that with a 1-out bunt, then a walk and an infield single in the 4th, although they left the bases loaded. And now a single and a sac bunt with 2 down in the 5th. Robles, another guy who is an old rookie, getting the opportunity here for the Dodgers because they have been ravaged by so many injuries. Although now they have his Turris back and they have Milton Bradley back. They're starting to get healthy again. Right on the corner for strike. He took a little something off that pitch and ran it to the outside edge.
And you talk about movement again. Look at the movement. Oh, right at the hitting zone. You see how sharply that broke? The 2-seamer or the splitter, I think 2-seam fastball, and darted out to the down and away corner.
2-1 popped him up. The shortstop Reyes shielding his eyes against the sun. Now he lost it and found it again, and he made the catch. He totally lost that for about a second. A lot of sun problems yesterday, some more today, but Jose recovers for the 3rd out. Mets leading the Dodgers 4-0 here in the 5th. Here's a look at the Dodge trivia question. Which pitcher struck out the most batters in the 1960s? This is a good one. Who struck out the most batters in the 1960s? I know you know this. You're about to run into this guy and several others.
I know who my pick is.
Mike Cameron with a walk and a ground out. He's 0 for 1. Who's your pick?
Left-handed.
It's got to be Sandy Koufax.
Now that may be wrong because he retired it after 66. It was only 6 years. A lot of times our questions are based on who's in town playing the Mets. So I'm thinking, I mean, it could be Gibson too. One pitcher, and that's both leagues though, isn't it? Do you have the answer yet?
I do. I'm holding the answer.
I don't want to see it.
Well, I guess Don Drysdale.
Did you guess? Don't say if you got correctly. That's
wrong. That's
okay.
Correct.
All right.
No, I will say that you are on the right track with 1/2 of your supposition.
Well, I'll go with one of those two. The only reason because of Koufax is Sandy was striking out 3 1/4, 350. Yeah, but he missed 4 years, so that's that's 1,000 strikeouts. And Gibby's playing. I think Gibby played 64 World Series and was 60. So I'm gonna go with Gibby.
So Gibson's your guess, filed away by Cameron. 2-2.
I thought you were going to. How many? Wait, who's the most, or the 4 that have the most? Is that the question? No, it's the most.
So who had the most strikeouts in the 60s?
Well, I can't. Between Koufax and Gibson, I got to say Gibson only because of the 4 years. That's the only reason I'll go with that.
I know he had a couple of
Lolich. But Lolich, but he wasn't really a strikeout pitcher.
No.
Marichal would be another consideration.
Not in that class. Filed away. And Juan Marichal was here the other night for merengue night.
Yes.
The ceremonial first pitch, the Dominican dandy.
Is he one of the most elegant men you've ever seen in your entire life? You see him? Yeah, absolutely. And still is.
Looks great. That leg kick.
I said, Senor, and I will see him in Cooperstown. I said, how many Cy Young Awards did you win? One of my favorite stories. And he put his arm around me. He said, not only that, Tom, I never got a vote.
Never got a vote.
Never got a vote.
Never won one and never got a vote.
Never got a vote.
Fouled off by Cameron.
It was I think when Sandy Koufax had his great year in '66, I think it was. Maybe 65, whatever, he was 27-4 or whatever. And Marichal was like 25-7. And then when Gibson had his great year in 1968 with a 1.12 under an average, which ruined it for every hitter. I mean, every pitcher. Juan Marichal was like 24-5.
Let's get to the answer on Dodge Trivia. Which pitcher struck out the most batters in the 1960s? You say it was Gibson. I took Drysdale. Well, Drysdale's third. You're right on Gibson. 2,071. How about Jim Bunning right behind him?
Wow, I would have never gotten that.
And Sandy.
No, I would have. I didn't think of Drysdale either.
Beltran is 1 for 2. Carlos legging out a triple in the 3rd inning. He's also struck out. In the daytime, he's hitting about 350. Pops it up around the plate. Rose flips away the helmet. 2 down. So Cameron strikes out. Beltran pops up. And it's up to Cliff Floyd to try and do something to preserve this inning. Cliff did plenty in his last at bat. Not only did he rip a double, he also stole a base and scored a run, and that was after driving in a run with the 2-base hit. So now 60 runs batted in for Cliff. It was his first hit in this series. Facing Brad Penny. Used to be his teammate with the Marlins. 1 ball, no strikes. But the San Diego Padres are about to go 0 for the East Coast. Philadelphia leading San Diego 4-0 in the 5th. Padres have lost 6 straight games. They have yet to win on their East Coast swing. Mets swept them here. And Phillies are beating them up in the 5th inning today. David Wright on deck, 2 down, bases empty. Here's the 1-0, and that's a strike. Washington and Houston, they're tied up 1-1 in the 7th inning. Floyd sitting on 23 homers. Takes inside around the shins. 2-1. The Mets, a traveling team tonight. They're heading to Denver to open up a series with the Colorado Rockies. at Coors Field tomorrow night at 9:05. Tom Glavine against Jose Acevedo in game 1. 3 there and then 4 in Houston on the upcoming trip. Penny with a 2-1 offering and a check swing on a ball down low. Floyd is among the best around at checking his swing and showing the bat to the third base umpire to give him a good look.
He stops it and holds it right there with his bottom hand. And Penny kind of been going at it and at it. There's a slider inside. Holds it with his left hand. Floyd been stepping out. Penny wants to work quickly.
Rocketed for a base hit. Into right field. Worth scoops it up, and it's a single for Cliff Floyd. Cliff had a horrible at bat in the first inning. Walked away shaking his head, throwing the bat, but he's come back and doubled and singled since.
To look at it again. The ball ran back to the plate. Right after the base hit, Brad Penny was looking into the Dodger dugout and maybe at his pitching coach, Jim Colburn. And he put his hand down right in front of his belt buckle about he got it in there and couldn't believe that he hit it that hard. But then you saw the replay. That ball was fastball inside, tailed right back out over the plate. I think Penny thought he got the ball in on the inside corner, and if he missed, well, one of the things you want to do, you want to miss in, not to the middle of the plate.
Mets have already attempted 3 stolen bases today, successful twice. In for a strike on David Wright.
Take a look at this pitch again. Where is it? He wants it in. It is in, but then it gets right back middle third. In. Yeah, see him? He's going back. He's got to be looking at his pitching coach, I would presume. Unless he had, he could have another one of the starters that they have some form of communication about monitoring each other, but probably the pitching coach.
I think you're right. I think Colburn's on the top step there. That's what he was talking about. The 1-ball, 1-strike pitch to right. Curveball hammered, but foul, barely. Down the third base line, hit it sharply. David just continues to have one fine at bat after another. He's hit an 11 in a row now. He struck out on Saturday in his first at bat. First time he had struck out in 40 plate appearances. On the homestand, he's hitting over 400. Mike Piazza on deck.
Is now hitting 11 straight.
Yep, talking about Wright, an 11-game hit streak. He's added to that today. Floyd gets back in. Quick toss by Penny. He's convinced that Floyd is going to be running. Two down, a 1-2 pitch to Wright. Runner holding, and it's inside.
He almost got a jump, talking about Floyd at first base. And when he hit that double, Floyd hit that double in the third inning. He was not running well at the end of the double. It was almost as if something is barking in his lower half of his body. But he acted as if he wanted to steal there. Well, he's got something wrong with him. You got to go. I mean, you have to go with Wright at the plate with 2 strikes. At worst case scenario, gets thrown out at second base. You got Wright leading off the next inning. But Cliff Floyd was not running well on that double that he hit earlier back in the third.
But right after the double, he stole third base. He's taken off here, and it is up high for ball 4.
He stole that on a pitcher that wasn't paying attention.
He sure did. So Wright takes his walk. That puts runners at first and second.
And it looked to me like he was not running well when he went to second base. He goes around first. And right there, it's like something started barking. Right there. See when he held up there? Maybe he was just slowing his body down, but it's like something looked like something was tight in there.
Well, he's into scoring territory here. We'll see how he runs on a base hit from Mike Piazza. Good day brewing for the Met catcher. 2-run homer. Gone instantaneously, driven into the left field bleachers. He's also singled in a run. So he's driven in 3 as he looks at strike 1. Elmer descends as the right-hander loosening now for Jim Tracy's Dodgers. Penny is about to throw the 100th pitch of his day. 2 on, 2 out. 4-0 Mets here in the 5th. Ground ball to the middle. Diving effort by his Turris. It spits out. Here comes Floyd. He had stopped. Here comes the throw. The tag, the collision. He is going to be out at home. Floyd buries Rose, who now gets up, and apparently he's just fine. A disjointed play. Floyd had stopped after rounding third almost entirely. Comes on in, but nailed at the plate as his Turris recovered. Top of the sixth inning, Cliff Floyd only now heading out to left field to take his position after the collision at the plate, and he goes out there gingerly. This is a base hit by Piazza.
Yeah, base hit by Piazza. Now, Maniac, they held up Floyd at third. And then the ball, just as that happened, the ball bounced away from the shortstop. But enough time to recover. And look at this collision. This is 240 pounds rolling into you. And it looked like Mike Rose was hurt on the play, laid down like that for 2 or 3 seconds, boom, and popped right up and sprinted off to the dugout. And Cliff Floyd was tardy getting out of the Met dugout and getting out to left field. He was hurting somewhere.
Yeah, thorny Rose as it turns out, but Floyd is in there and left. Here's his Turris. Bunt single for him in the fourth inning, which was the first hit of the day for the Dodgers against Benson. They only have 3, and he looked to bunt again but took a strike. So the play, a single for Piazza. The out at home goes 6-2. Mike Piazza 3 for 3, but no RBI on that play. His Turris with, by the way, a terrific recovery. Knocking the ball down to begin with, did not make a clean stop, but got to it in a heartbeat.
There was no way he could get to the ball.
And Rose absorbing that collision at the plate, and a collision it was when you have Cliff Floyd barreling into you. Held on to the baseball. Here's the 1-2. Fouled away as he laid the bat on the ball just to spoil it. Two, 3, and 4 hitting in this inning, and Cliff Floyd still trying to get himself together. Up high on his Turris, very tough guy to strike out. And he is 4 out of 5 lifetime against Benson. The 2-2 drifted outside, now full count. Kris has walked only one man today. That was Milton Bradley in the fourth. But his counts have gotten deeper over the last 3 innings. The full count pitch. Ground ball, right side. There's Cairo filling the hole. Minkiewicz back, and he got him. 1 down. Lots of ground balls for Benson today. Met fans, pick up the New York Post on Monday, July 25th for your Mets Mania Scratch and Win game card. Your chance to win cash, Met tickets, and prizes, and a lot more. It's easy. Just get your free scratch card. Look into the Post every day for that day's lucky numbers and simply scratch and win. So get in the game on Monday, July 25th when you get the New York Post. Here's Bradley 0 for 1 with a walk. First ball swinging. He hurt himself. Very slow to get out of the box. He grounds out. Kind of buckled over in pain there on that chopper. May have twisted an ankle momentarily.
Well, a couple of very quick outs here for the Dodgers. Ooh.
Oh, he pulled for the hand.
Yeah, hamstring, left hamstring. Yep. Ouch. Looks like he reached down to get the bat. No, it was hamstring, left hamstring the whole time. Ouch.
Reyes just came off the disabled, I should say. Milton Bradley just came off the disabled list. The right ring finger. There was not a hamstring injury that put him on the disabled list. May have tweaked one there. Here's Kent. He is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to second and popped out to short. Game number 1 on Friday night, Kent did a lot of damage. He was 3 for 5. He was 0 for 4 on Saturday, and he's hitless today. So the Mets have done good work since Friday, keeping him off the bases. 1-2. Good change of pace pitch here.
Good velocity and good, even better location. That ball not in the strike zone when it gets there. Yes, it was outside. You can see that front knee right at the front knee. Looked like it was down, but it was not.
2-2 on Jeff Kent. If he should reach, Jason Worth would hit.
Biggest out in the ball game for Benson really in the the second inning. And, in the fourth inning when he popped up Kent on the infield with a couple of men on base.
Low for a ball, now 3-2. Kris not as razor sharp as he was in the first 3 innings here over the last 3. Although on the run column the results have been identical. Nothing in for the Dodgers. 3-2 pitch, high chop, down for it right. Nice stab, throws and gets it. 3 outs, all on the ground, so Benson zips through the 6th inning. 4-0 the Mets as we go to the bottom half. Hey, weeknights at 10, join Jim Watkins, Kenny Tong, and the rest of the 05 Emmy Award-winning news team for a look at the day's events, plus Mr. G's weather and Sal's sports. The WB11, the place for news. Bottom of the 6th, Mets leading the Dodgers here 4-0. And Doug Mankiewicz in looking at his strike. Brad Penny had what would have to be called something of an altercation inside his dugout, a verbal altercation during the time that his team was hitting right before he came out to pitch again. It looked like with Jim Colburn, the pitching coach, those two exchanging some words, and Penny unhappy about something here, Tom.
Well, he was talking about, I think, the base hit by Cliff Floyd. That he thought he got the ball in there on the inside part of the plate, and that's one of the things you find out after the game. But he was upset about something, and by whether it's something his pitching coach said or the manager said, I don't know. Can't tell. And then on the replay that we had, it looked like the ball came back to the inner third of the plate, and it was not on the corner. And the book tell you what the book is on Cliff Floyd as far as the Dodgers are concerned. Just don't let him extend and get the ball on the inside corner. And if you miss in toward the hitter. It's kind of an old basic rule. But that ball, if it did miss in toward the hitter. It missed out toward the middle of the plate.
The 1-2 to Mankiewicz. Rattled toward the shortstop. Is Turris with another smooth stop on it. And Mankiewicz 0 for 2 today with a walk. Makes the first out here in the bottom of the 6th. Cairo will be the next man in. Well, Penny has always been bedeviled by Shea Stadium and the New York Mets. 2-8 lifetime against the Mets with an ERA of 6.43. He had a couple of shouting matches with Bobby Valentine when Bobby was the skipper of the Mets. And Penny was pitching for the Florida Marlins. Cairo hits it to deep short. Nice stab again. Is Turris throws off balance. Beautifully done to get the out. He makes it look real easy out there.
And that isn't that easy, folks. I'm telling you right now, one of the great positions in a baseball game when you come out to the ballpark to watch a person play, shortstop. Up the middle, to his right, the charging play on one step and throw to first. And that knowing the speed of your runner and taking the one step and just turning and throwing to first base. Still now already getting past the All-Star break. That man at shortstop, it's still a single digit in errors on the season. That's almost unheard of.
He's made 8.
That's it.
Benson 0 for 2.
You look at that number 8 and you said, "No, that's got to be a typographical error." Can't be.
Awfully good. He may win the Gold Glove again this year. The thing that's most impressive about Cesar Turris is that he makes all of the routine plays. He's not what you'd call a spectacular shortstop with a lot of diving plays and acrobatic plays, although he can make those too. Nice stab by Choi as well. He stopped Choi. Gets there for out number 3. And that will do it. The Mets go 1-2-3. We are on to the 7th at Shea. It's 4-0 Mets. New York Mets baseball is being brought to you today by the BMW 3 Series with all-wheel drive, by AM New York, New York's free daily newspaper, and by Mazda, always the soul of a sports car. Tom Seaver, Dave O'Brien with you, and this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Sterling Mets and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of Sterling Mets. Mets on top here 4-0 to the 7th inning. Benson has been in command for the entire day. He did wriggle out of a bases loaded jam in the 4th inning. And he's only allowed 3 hits. Fouled away by Jason Worth as he leads off the frame. He has beaten out an infield single and also been called out on strikes. Four runs on 8 hits for the Mets, including a Mike Piazza home run. For the Dodgers, nothing across on 3 hits. A strike called on Worth, and it's 0-2. Benson scuffled a little bit with his fine control in the 4th and again in the 5th inning, running into some lengthy counts, but then bounced back in the 6th inning and got them 1-2-3. Trying the outside corner, 1-2. Seattle and Cleveland, they're tied up 1-1 3rd inning. Oakland leading Texas 3-1 in the 3rd. It's another second half surge for the Oakland A's. They do it every year. Low for a ball, and they are back in the hunt after a pretty dismal start to their season. The A's have won 5 in a row, 8 out of 10, and they're only 6.5 behind the Angels in the AL West. Although the Angels are playing well. Fly ball center field. Beltran. And Carlos continues to move to make the catch, wearing those shades. Worth retired, 1 man out. Boy, you've seen a lot of smiles here and a little communique between Cameron and Carlos Beltran. Mike Cameron is on the record saying that the toughest center field in baseball, as far as he knows, is Shea Stadium in the summertime.
A little convincing probably going on. If you can't handle it, I'll take care of it for you. You know, need any help? Something certainly that amused Beltran.
Aesop Choi now. He's 0 for 2. Fouls it straight back for strike 1. Big guy from South Korea hitting .238 with 13 home runs. One down and the base is clean here. Inside, Aesop Choi, graduating from Gwangju High School in Gwangju, South Korea back in 1998, and he attended Korea University. He was a member of the Korean national team that finished 2nd in the World Baseball Championships in '98. He was just a kid then.
One of the things people talk about too, and I don't know if it's you're the one that's told me, that people say he might be the strongest guy in the big leagues.
I've heard that said, yes.
I mean, that's what you just wouldn't believe that, would you? I mean, it's not obvious, but they say he's incredibly strong.
It doesn't necessarily translate into tape measure home runs.
No.
There are a lot of different ways to be strong, but just in terms of how powerfully built he is, and bench pressing and that sort of thing. He was actually signed by Leon Lee, the father of Derek Lee. He was a Pacific Rim scout. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Trying to check. No, he did check. He did not swing the bat. It sounded like he made contact on it.
Did not go. Got to be strong to be able to do this. That bat did not go around. His body did. The bat didn't. They checked with the third base umpire. Wally Bell said no luck. Good pitch by Benson, though.
And no foul tip either. The 3-2. Little dribbler, softly hit. Benson gets to it, has time, and gets it. 2 down. That's 100 pitches for Benson on the day. Now 101, in fact, after he gets Aesop Choi.
Mike Edwards.
And that'll send up Mike Edwards, another rookie in the lineup. The Dodgers have 8 rookies on their roster right now. We talked a lot about the 10 rookies at one time Atlanta had playing for Bobby Cox. Well, the Dodgers have a ton of them too, and Edwards hitting .282 with 1 home run. He's grounded back to the pitcher and lined out to right today, 0 for 2. They got a pitcher's duel today at RFK. Houston won. The Nationals won. They're in the 8th, all tied up. Phillies lead San Diego 4-1, 6th inning. Ground ball to the middle. No 1-2-3 inning this time for Kris Benson. It's a single for Edwards. Facing Kris Benson for the first time today, and he's 1 for 3.
1 ball, no strike fastball. And shot right up the middle. There's 4 hits for the Dodgers here this afternoon. Benson with 2 strikes in the 7th, 2 outs, excuse me, in the 7th inning. And still pitching the shutout. Nobody going in the Met bullpen. A lot of times there have been players and pitchers and organizations and managers and pitching coaches, and they'll take the pitcher out even though they got a shutout going. And part of this pitching well mentally is feeling good about yourself. I mean, it's a pretty big deal. You walk off that mound, you've shut out a team for 9 innings. And some organizations think that pitch count is more important. You get 4 days to rest. You know, put a shutout underneath your belt. Benson with no complete games this year.
The pitch is up high for a ball. We saw Ricky Leday in the on-deck circle. He's going to hit with the pitcher Brad Penny. Well, even more important on a day like this, because not only the Mets have a 4-0 lead, they're supporting Benson for a change, but they're about to head to Coors Field, and you know you're going to shred your bullpen. And you need a strong outing and a long outing before you go there. Cut on and missed by Rose. He's 1 for 2 today with a single.
Benson with a real good sinker and a real good changeup right there. Look at that awkward swing by the hitter. A fine changeup.
He struck out 3 today, trying to get Mike Rose, the rookie catcher. And the 1-2. Downstairs too much, 2-2. Baltimore out in front of Tampa Bay 2-1 there in the 4th inning. Red Sox have a 1-0 lead on the White Sox in the 1st. Swinging a high fly ball right field, but foul territory, and that's a souvenir. Mets ahead here 4-0 on a glorious Sunday afternoon. Mike Cameron loving that corner down there, jumping up over that wall a couple of times today. Enjoying the fans in the right field stands. Mike Cameron just popping up to say hi.
All right, how's the family there?
Swing and a miss. Good fastball. Rising heater to strike out Mike Rose and retire the side. For the Dodgers in the 7th. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. 7 more good innings out of Kris Benson today. Mets on top of the Dodgers here as we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. A 4-0 lead. A victory today, and the Mets close out the homestand 7-3. The Lexus out of town scores now. Houston and Washington 1-1. They've gone to the 9th inning. John Patterson of the Nationals has 10 strikeouts in 8 innings and has allowed just the 1 earned run. Milwaukee, Cincinnati tied up 2-2. Pittsburgh leads Colorado in the 8th inning. The Marlins have A.J. Burnett on the mound. Maybe the last time for him as those trade rumors continue to swirl around a former Mets farmhand. In the American League, a little bit later, the Yankees against the Angels. The Yankees have fallen 2.5 games behind Boston and have lost 3 in a row. Baltimore has dropped 4 consecutive games. They have a 2-1 lead over Tampa Bay in the 4th inning. Red Sox leading the White Sox by 1 in the early going. Benson trying to stay cool. He has certainly cooled off the Dodger bats, hasn't he? He's allowed just 4 hits through 7. Pitching change for Los Angeles. Penny is done and Elmer Descends is on.
Descends his 9th game, 31 innings pitched, good ratio there, 25 hits. Kris Benson, when he pitches, doesn't even look like he perspires, does he? Makes it look so easy.
In that regard, he reminds you of Tom Glavine, sort of a right-handed Glavine.
Throws harder.
Throws harder, but not in terms of stuff or delivery, but facially they look a lot alike.
And exertion of energy. They make it looks. They're so liquid and so much. Their timing is so good, and they don't look like they're really. Certainly not muscling the ball up there. And they've got great timing as far as a sense of understanding that the hitting zone. It's a combination of velocity, movement, and location. Because some of those pitches that Benson's making today, I mean, they're getting right to the hitting zone and then boom, they're going in the opposite direction. And that's really the key.
Reyes pops up. Jose Reyes 0 for 4 after a whirlwind day yesterday.
And David, this is an important game right here, and you're making it look easy because Benson has been so good. And yes, it's 4-0, but in the context of homestand and then going on the road, and the Mets have not been a good road team so far this year. Mets on the road only 19-26. This is a game you're either 7-3 or 6-4 on the homestand. This is the old proverbial 2-game swing here. 7-3 is a real good homestand. 6-4 is okay at best.
Well, the Mets on their way with a 4-0 lead. Cameron swinging, pops a foul out of play. Mike on the day 0 for 2. Also walked and stolen a base. The Mets with an opportunity, assuming they win this one today, to be just 3 games back in the division standings heading into the current road trip to Colorado and on to Houston. They're now trailing Atlanta and Washington by 4 in the National League East. You've got to look at that Colorado series as the opportunity to take at least 2 out of 3. Houston's very tough at home, of course. They were last year. They are again in 2005. The Astros are 30-14 in their home ballpark. Benson would next pitch in that series in Houston. Not done today. He is shutting out the Los Angeles Dodgers through 7. Bases clean, 1 out. The 2-2 to Cameron is taken for strike 3. He's caught looking. Mike fans for the second time today. 2 gone.
Fastball ran right back in, right down about knee high, right in the middle of the plate.
Well, it's been a very nice homestand in a lot of ways for Carlos Beltran. Yesterday's misplay on that sun-blinded fly ball aside. Today he has tripled and scored. He's 1 for 3. Sitting over 300 for the homestand with 2 homers and 9 runs batted in. There's 9 RBIs in the first 9 games of the homestand. Not the kind of numbers that blow you right off the chair, but improving offensively and running. And to my way of thinking, that's the biggest thing. The fact that Scott Erickson, the former starter, loosens up in their bullpen. Beltran is running fluidly, easily, without pain. High chop, Baltimore chop on the infield. Tough play for Kent. He throws too late. And Beltran has an infield single to make him 2 for 4 today. Chopping down on the plate, and he beats out the hit.
Well, you talk about running, and you see it here, and you're right, David, that triple that he hit in the 3rd inning, probably the best and most fluid that he has run all year long. That's actually the shortstop's ball right there. That's academic because there's no way with Beltran the way he is now running, you're never going to get either the shortstop or second baseman. Not going to get him at first base on that ball.
So Beltran keeps the inning alive for Cliff Floyd, who is shaken up on a home plate collision with Rose, the catcher. But Cliff stayed in the game. He has 2 hits today, a double and a single. Also stolen a base, driven in a run. Lines that one into left field. Edwards backing up and makes the catch, and the side is retired. For the Mets in the 7th, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Moving into the late frames now. It's on to the 8th. The Mets up by 4. Kris Benson has tossed 5 complete games in his career, and one of them last season after being traded from the Pirates to the Mets. He has one in sight here today on a glorious Sunday afternoon at Shea Stadium. He has a 4-0 lead over the Dodgers. Antonio Perez will bat in the pitcher spot as a pinch hitter. So he leads off, and that's the top of the order, Robles and Turris. Benson has been superb. He's allowed only 4 hits. And this right before a trip to 2 very hitter-friendly ballparks where the bullpens are likely to be used pretty frequently. At least that's the assumption. So Benson could be coming up with his 6th complete game at a perfect time for the Mets. And this effort might be good enough to cap off a 7-3 homestand. Here's the 1-1. That's across for a strike. Pedro Martinez has tossed 2 complete games this season. The only other one on the staff belongs to Aaron Heilman when he was in the rotation. The 1-2 to Perez is outside. He would not chase it. And Mr. Heilman starting to loosen up, do some stretching in the bullpen.
That complete game by Heilman was a shutout, the only shutout in the staff for the Mets so far this year. Benson in his career has 2 shutouts, one of them for the Mets last year. Great pitch right there, breaking ball right on that outside corner, and Benson has been picture perfect here today. He has been right on the money. Breaking ball, a slider going away. Yep, and framed perfectly by Piazza.
Number 5 for Benson. The Met battery has been outstanding. Piazza driving in 3 runs. He's cracked a homer. And Benson has been terrific on the hill. Here's Robles. He is 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and once on a hot shot right back to the pitcher's mound. And Benson was able to kick it. Not intentionally, but it was off his shoe and it rolled over to David Wright, who played the carom beautifully and threw on to first to get him. A 1-5-3 out. Robles has also popped out to short. Kris has walked only 1 man all day. He backs away the hitter inside for a ball. Atlanta will get underway shortly against Arizona in the finale of that series as Benson drops in a strike. Cesar Turris up next. He's the man who bunted for a hit with 1 out in the 4th inning and became the first man to reach against Benson today. Another strike, and the count is filled up 3-2.
Next pitch will be 120 for Kris Benson, and a couple of pitches that looks like he may be getting fatigued, but the majority of them he looks as good as he did in the first 3 innings of this ball game.
Rocketed to right field, and that's a foul ball pulled by Robles. He has hit just 1 home run since they called him in from the Mexican League.
120 pitches so far. 72 of those, a great ratio. 72 have been strikes. You try to get a 2-to-1 ratio. Strikes to every ball that you throw out of the strike zone.
The payoff pitch. Fly ball right field, a routine play for Cameron. And that is out number 2. 2 down in the 8th. Look at the Jeep game summary now. Here's how we got here. Kent, first of all, hasn't done anything today. Penny roughed up for 8 hits and 4 earned runs over 6 innings. Mike Piazza strikes for another home run and passes bench and ties Greg Nettles on the all-time list. So far, Benson 7 2/3 has been awfully good, but so has Mike Piazza today. And Mike will be the number 2 hitter due up in the bottom of the 8th. Schedule to be Wright, Piazza, Minkiewicz. The way Benson is pitching right now, the Mets have plenty with these 4 runs. Is Turris 1 for 3 with that bunt single we talked about. He flies a foul out of play, and it's 1-1. A win today for Benson means that the Mets will be 12-4 in games that he starts, which is really ultimately the key number, more so than his 6-3 personal record. 2-1.
Last couple of pitches up in the strike zone, up above the top of the strike zone. The fatigue beginning to set in. The pitcher gets tired and he doesn't finish a lot of bottom half of his body, and then his arm can't get there. That pitch was up above his Turris, about shoulder high.
Little blooper. Out goes Cairo. There for the turn and the catch. 1, 2, 3. They go. We'll see if that's it for Benson. Through 8 innings, he has shut out the Dodgers 4-0. Benson getting a hand from the fans and from Willie Randolph as he got down into the dugout after the 1, 2, 3 inning. And with all those pitches, Tom Seaver, he is finished up for the day, it would appear.
Give me the ball, coach. It's all about pitch count. I mean, you picture yourself a 4-hit shutout. But the game is different today. And when you start high-fiving going in there after 8, that seems to be about it.
Here's Scott Erickson, whose career continues at the age of 37, despite a couple of disabling injuries. He pitched briefly for the Mets last year. Just a couple of appearances. Went 0-1 with a 7.88 ERA. Then went to Texas and was 1-3 there with an ERA of 6.16. He's had elbow and shoulder injuries over the years that have really deflated his career. Soft dribbler by right. His Turris throws the dive. He's out. Just got him at first base. Boy, it is tough to get anything by Cesar Turris, but even when it's in front of him, he makes a dynamite play.
Left and right, that's the one we talk about, making all the plays. Feels the ball barehanded and one step and on the way against David Wright, who gets down the line very well. Very impressive at shortstop. Cesar Turris.
One man out. Mike Piazza 3 for 3 today, pushing the average to 267. 3 hits, including a 2-run homer and a run-scoring single, so he's driven in 3 against his former team. Mike became a superstar in a Dodger uniform. It began with his Rookie of the Year performance with Los Angeles. Here against the Dodgers, he has shown them his home run swing and a good bat today. Had 3 hits against Brad Penny, went the first 6 innings. So Mike now 11 out of 26 with 3 homers against Penny, as Erickson misses up high. Houston and Washington have gone to the 10th inning, still tied 1-1. The White Sox have jumped in front of the Red Sox 2-1 there in the 2nd inning in Chicago. Inside for ball 4. So it looks like it's going to wind up a perfect day for Mike Piazza. 3 hits and a walk. On base 4 times, and Minkiewicz comes up to hit now. Well, if Benson is in fact done, and it appears that he is, Kris went 8 innings through 125 pitches today. As Looper is the man warming in the bullpen now. Joe Williams is going to come on to run for Mike Piazza, and another hand for Mike. Certainly deserving with an outstanding day at the plate.
Important home run. A lot of memories for that man when he gets out of the game and remembers his days here at Shea Stadium.
Minkiewicz 0 for 2. Mike also catching an excellent game today.
Excellent game.
Does not get enough credit at times for those elements of his defensive game and receiving the game. So much is centered on the poor throwing, which has plagued Mike throughout his career. But today he and Benson looked like they were in sync. Not too many times did Benson shake him off.
And they had a great game plan too.
Minkiewicz with a couple of home runs since coming off the disabled list. He's had a good homestand. He said one of the great things about getting hurt, if such a thing can be said about getting hurt, that anything's great about it, was he had a chance to clear his mind and forget about the first 3 months. He said, I can't do them over again. It's in the books. I had a lousy first half. But clear your mind and start doing some things better. And with the help of guys like Gerald Williams and David Wright, they have offered a lot of advice and counsel and taken him into the video room to show him some things. And those guys have really helped Minkiewicz, he thinks, get back on track. Gerald Williams at first base with 1 out. A 3-1 pitch to Minkiewicz here in the bottom of the 8th. Ground ball, nice stop almost by Choi. It rolls to Kent, and there will be no play. He did a good job just slowing it down. Gerald Williams over to second base on what should be a base hit for Doug Minkiewicz. Would be his first of the day.
No, that's really the first time that Choi at first base has not taken away a base hit from a New York Met when he has had a chance. He's done it the entire series. And right underneath his glove, no play for Kent to get the runner at first. Infield base hit. An insurance run right here would make everybody pretty comfortable on that Met bench.
Cairo 1 for 3 with a single back in the second inning. Only one away here. That one off the glove of Rose. It pops out, and the runners move up. Williams into third, Minkiewicz into second.
Well, that's going to be a pass ball. You could hear it clunk the glove of the catcher, Mike Rose. Fastball up in. Don't know if he crossed up, and he's out to the mound now talking to him. Don't know if he crossed him up. Yeah, he definitely did. That ball should have been the breaking ball away, probably. And the ball went off the glove of the catcher, Rose. Erickson was with the New York Mets last year in spring training. They went on to play in St. Lucie and Norfolk, Virginia. He got 142 wins in the big leagues. If you have a goal, certainly would be to get to 150.
They won 20 one year for Minnesota.
Yeah, man.
That's a long time ago.
Benson, a long time ago. That's back, when was that? Back in
91, wasn't it?
1991, yeah. And his name popped up several years in a row about the Mets being interested in him when he was with Boston. With Baltimore.
Popped up by Cairo. He saw Choi over near the camera well, leans in and made the play. Nice catch, runners hold. He saw Choi with a long arm extending in amongst the photogs for the second out.
Well, a good play defensively again. Stop Choi, very impressive defensively in this series here at Shea this weekend.
Now Marlon Anderson to pinch hit, where he has been a dynamo. 14 for 33, hitting .424. A base hit here should add on 2 more runs with Williams at third, Minkiewicz at second, and 2 down. The Mets trying to put the finishing touches on an outstanding homestand. On the verge of going 7-3 on it, including a sweep of the San Diego Padres. Outside on Marlon. He's hitting overall at .298. Part of a very deep Met bench. Four runs on 10 hits for the Mets. No runs on just 4 hits for the Dodgers on this Sunday. Another base hit for him into right field. Choi couldn't get to that. 1 run in. Here comes Minkiewicz. He scores. 6-0 Mets. Marlon Anderson close to automatic these days off the bench. You can pretty much mark it down as a hit when he walks up there to swing.
A hanging breaking ball right in the middle of the plate, just about mid-thigh high, and finally got the ball by the first baseman. And no play on either of the base runners with 2 outs. Everybody off with a crack of the bat, and the Mets just about iced this one up.
Up 6-0. Reyes getting another crack to get into the hit column. He's 0 for 4. Jose also came into the day having stolen a base in 6 straight games. to tie Vince Coleman's 1991 club record. He has not reached today, and he takes a strike. It's 1-1. But he's had an outstanding homestand. Coming into today, hitting .395 on the homestand. Slicer foul off to the left, and it's 1-2. Everybody in both dugouts gushing over Reyes' performance yesterday with the 4 hits, the 3 runs, the 2 steals, the 2 RBIs, and his 10th triple to lead the majors. Even Jim Tracy, the Dodger skipper. Little blooper. That's going to settle down for a base hit. So he's on. Anderson into second, and the hits just keep on coming here on this Sunday for the Mets. Reyes is aboard as he drops in a single. Made a last-second adjustment there in that at bat.
Yeah, he adjusted it. A lot of times he tried to go to left field, and that time just make contact. Hit the ball out of the ballpark. You get on base, he gets on base, and that's your speed carrier around the bases. And just a little flare into right center field. Boy, he just seems to get better every day, doesn't he?
Cameron with a ground ball to Robles, and the fielder's choice retires the side. The Mets pick up a couple of more runs. We move on to the ninth. It is 6-0 New York. Mets baseball is being brought to you by your Tri-State Quality Ford store with the best-selling vehicles on the planet. By Verizon Business DSL, the best value in broadband that keeps getting better. By your New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut Lexus dealer who invite you to test drive a Lexus today. By Dunkin' Donuts, the official coffee of the New York Mets. By the new Chevrolets. Visit ChevyOffers.com, the newest way to buy a Chevy. By Chase, home of maximum strength checking. And by the Jeep Grand Cherokee, Peterson's 4-wheel and off-road magazines 4x4 of the year. Gerald Williams taking over in right field here, replacing Mike Cameron. As part of several changes, Ramon Castro is behind the plate. Mike Piazza lifted for the runner Williams earlier. And the new pitcher is going to be Aaron Heilman. With the score 6-0 Mets, he replaces Kris Benson. Went the first 8 innings. Benson threw 125 pitches. He allowed only 4 hits, struck out 5, walked 1, and in line to go to 7-3. And 7-3 is how the Mets want to end this homestand. Milton Bradley has struck out, walked, and grounded out. Jeff Kent to follow, and then Worth, and that pitch is along the outside corner for strike. Benson, by the way, did a great job keeping the sinker where you have to keep a sinker. He had 11 ground ball outs, 8 flyouts. He struck out 5. Bradley just recently came off the disabled list as of yesterday and went 2 for 3 in his first game back. He takes a ball down into the dirt. Jeff Kent waiting in the on deck area. He's 0 for 3. Heilman with a 3-1 pitch, and it's taken for a strike. The right-hander works, and it's fouled away. A vicious cut by Bradley. He certainly had a tumultuous career for such a young guy. Very controversial stays with both the Cleveland Indians and to some degree with the Dodgers, although he's undergone, I think everybody has read about it, anger management courses. A swing and a miss for strike 3. And those appear to be taking. He's got a hold of his temper for the most part, although even on the recent rehab stint he got ejected from the game.
Aaron Heilman, good fastball throws, good changeup, and throws the fastball right by the hitter. Each pitch complementing the other.
He's a gifted young ball player, although he has been immensely troubled in the minor leagues, ejected quite often. He's had altercations with fans, the minors and at the big league level, with police, just about anybody. Looks like he's starting, to his credit, to pull things together. Kent hitting .300 with 17 home runs. The last 2 days of the series, he's been awfully quiet. And after going 3 for 5 on Friday, he fouls one back.
I went away there for a little bit. My equipment went on the fritz here, Mr. O'Brien.
Mine did too.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yours are, couldn't hear you.
Technical difficulties, as we say in the business, Tom.
Well, my headphone couldn't work.
I didn't hear anything you said.
I don't know about
From what I was told,
technical difficulties.
I was told in the truck that whatever you said, it was brilliant.
I'm sure. I do. I am in charge of refreshments after the game, so they had better say that.
Here's the 0-2 to Kent. Cut on and missed for strike 3. Heilman's sharp out of the pen. Back-to-back Ks in the ninth. One more to get. And the Mets can celebrate an outstanding homestand.
High fastball got Bradley, and a low-away changeup gets Jeff Kent. So Kent on the day is 0 for 4. He had his one pitch to hit back in the 4th inning. High fastball from Kris Benson, popped it up in the infield. That with a couple of men on.
Jason Worth 1 for 3. He has an infield hit today. One of just 4 hits all afternoon for Los Angeles. Benson was outstanding again. He's put up one excellent start after another. The Mets really needed it heading to Coors Field. They needed a long, strong outing, and they got one from Benson. Heilman's 1-1 pitch misses the mark, and it's 2-1. They're on to the 11th inning now in Washington. The Astros and the Nationals tied up 1-1. You know, Willie Randolph's glancing at that scoreboard every once in a while. There's a chance to be 3 games out at the end of the day. Ground ball to his right. Reyes scoops, fires, close, got him, and that's the ball game. Willie Randolph and the New York Mets back into the win column as they blank the Los Angeles Dodgers today by a final score of 6-0. And take the series 2-1 and win 7 out of 10 on the homestand. 6 runs on 12 hits, no errors for the Mets. No runs, just 4 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. Benson the winner, he's 7-3. Brad Penny the loser, he's 5-6. And we'll wrap it up in a moment. That is one clean victory for the New York Mets today, 6-0, blanking the Los Angeles Dodgers, and an opportunity for the Mets to be within 3.5 games of first place if both Washington and Atlanta fall in their games. And Washington right now is tied up in the 11th inning with Houston. Let's go downstairs right now. One of the stars of the game with Lolita Lopez, Cliff Floyd. Lolita?
Well, Dave, fans here are yelling MVP, MVP as I'm standing here next to Cliff Floyd. You made that one hit a double and got an RBI, and that your turbos were on today, even stole a base.
Yeah, you know, last night I tried this electro stem on my feet, and I mean, it really worked. I mean, I slept good, and I woke up, I wasn't limping, and was able to come in today and feel good.
Yeah, and obviously your hits are on all across the board in your team, but also the pitching. We talked to Willie Randolph earlier today, who said when Kris Benson gets on the mound, he's almost Martinez-esque. You guys feel more confident, you play a little better. Do you feel that way, especially with this outing?
Well, yeah, I think that everybody's riding, each other's coattails. All our pitchers are just saying, you know what, I'm not gonna get outdone. I mean, they've been keeping us in a lot of ball games. They've been actually keeping us afloat, and we as hitters are starting to come around. I know I've been struggling lately a little bit, but when you have pitching, you always have a chance, and I think that's the most important thing.
And obviously the homestand was good. How about now when you go away, Colorado and Houston up?
Well, we got to win one game. You got to go out there and win the first game and alleviate that tension that, when you go on the West Coast, you know how it is on the West Coast. And, we haven't had too much, too many positive on the West Coast. I think we have to go out there and eliminate what happened when we went to Seattle and Oakland and say, you know what? We feel better about ourselves. The confidence is a lot better. Let's go out here and play the same type of ball as if we was at home. And if we do that, I don't see any problems in why we shouldn't go out there and play, good baseball.
All right, Cliff, thank you so much. Cliff Floyd here with me, the MVP according to some fans out here. Dave, back up to you.
Lolita, Cliff, thank you very much. With the victory today, Willie Randolph's Mets are now 51-47. They are, for the second time this year, 4 games over 500. A 6-0 win over the Dodgers. More in a moment.